Akpan, a quiet young man known for his skill in palm wine tapping, lives a modest life on the outskirts of Ikot-Otu. Though admired for his craftsmanship, he keeps to himself, finding solace in the rustle of palm leaves and the gentle drip of wine into his gourd. One morning at the stream, he sees Mfon, the chief's daughter, fetching water with her friends. Her laugh is bright, her eyes curious. Akpan is smitten, but his tongue fails him. Later that day, he asks his mother about her. "Mfon," she says, raising an eyebrow, "she's not for the likes of us." Her words sting, but they plant a seed. Akpan knows he cannot stay in the shadows forever. For the first time in years, he feels a desire stronger than shyness. Mfon, daughter of Chief Etim, is the most desired girl in Ikot-Otu. Yet behind her radiant smile is a girl chafing against the golden chains of privilege. Her father plans to marry her off to Bassi, the educated son of a counselor, who is rumored to be eyeing a run for state office. Mfon finds him arrogant and disconnected from the village. When Mfon returns from the stream, she can't stop thinking about the quiet young man with sad eyes who stared but said nothing. She recognizes him, Akpan, the tapper with the purest wine in the village. Something about him intrigues her. That night, as she sits in the courtyard, watching the moon rise over the palm trees, she wonders, can love find her in the most unexpected of places? At the local joint where elders gather to drink and gossip, news spreads that a palm wine competition will be held during the upcoming Yam festival. The winner gets not only the village's highest brewing honor, but also a chance to present his wine at the state fair. Chief Etim casually mentions that his daughter will hand the prize to the winner, a detail that sparks interest in the crowd. Akpan overhears this while delivering fresh wine. A wild thought crosses his mind. Could this competition be his chance to earn recognition, and maybe Mfon's heart? But just as he contemplates entering, he sees Bassi stride into the bar, boastfully announcing he'll win the competition with his father's factory-brewed version. The elders laugh uneasily. Tradition is under threat. Akpan confides in his best friend, Okon, a fast-talking fisherman who often drags him into village mischief. Okon immediately supports the idea of entering the competition. "You have the best wine in 3 clans, Akpan. You'll win, unless you faint before the crowd," he jokes. That evening, Akpan visits his father's grave and pours a libation of his latest tap. "Papa, help me," he whispers. Meanwhile, Mfon confronts her father about the Bassi proposal. Chief Etim dismisses her protest, reminding her that duty comes before desire. She storms out, her heart heavy. In the distance, palm trees sway, whispering of choices and consequences. Preparing for the competition is harder than Akpan expected. Not only must his wine be fresh, it must also be consistent in quality over multiple days. Okon helps him test different tapping times and storage methods. They seek advice from aging tappers in nearby villages, some of whom share secrets, others laugh them off. Mfon hears rumors about Akpan's entry and smiles quietly to herself. She begins finding excuses to pass near his farm. One day their eyes meet, and this time Akpan nods. A silent understanding begins to form, fragile but real. In the shadows, however, Bassi begins plotting. As the competition draws near, Akpan stores his best wine in a hidden earthen pot covered with raffia. He wants it to ferment naturally under the moon's gaze, an old technique passed down from his grandfather. Meanwhile, Okon crafts a custom gourd cup to enhance the aroma of the wine during judging. Akpan's confidence is growing. But Bassi is not idle. After learning of Akpan's progress, he sends 2 hired thugs to sabotage the young tapper's palm trees. One night, Akpan wakes to rustling sounds. He rushes out to find two of his best trees slashed and bleeding. The wine from those trees is spoiled. Akpan is devastated, but not broken. When Mfon hears of the attack, she brings Akpan fresh raffia leaves and herbal remedies to help restore his remaining trees. They sit under a tree for the first time, talking about childhood dreams and escaping expectations. Their bond deepens. Akpan touches her hand by accident. Neither pulls away. With only 5 days left before the festival, Akpan works through fatigue and frustration. Okon brings news. Bassi is using industrial yeast and mixing factory-grade sugar into his wine, a practice frowned upon by traditionalists but technically allowed. That night, Mfon sneaks out to meet Akpan again. She brings a calabash of soup and stays to watch him tap under moonlight. They talk about her dreams of starting a reading center for village children and his dream of owning his own grove. Under the stars, their lips meet in a cautious, tender kiss. Unbeknownst to them, Bassi's servant spies on them and runs to tell his master. A storm brews, not just in the sky, but in hearts and politics. The next day, Chief Etim summons Akpan. He is furious about rumors of his daughter being seen with a tapper. "Do you think tapping trees gives you the right to touch royalty?" the chief roars. Akpan bows low, heart pounding, but replies with dignity. "I respect you, sir, but I also respect her heart." The chief threatens to have Akpan disqualified from the competition, citing the sabotage incident as proof of recklessness. But the village council intervenes, insisting that all contestants must be allowed to compete fairly. The chief grudgingly agrees, but warns Akpan, "Win or lose, stay away from my daughter." Mfon, locked in her room, sends Okon a secret note for Akpan. "Don't be afraid, I'm still with you." 3 days before the festival, Akpan visits the sacred grove of Afo, where only a few tappers dare to go. He taps an old tree said to be the mother of palms, offering kola and prayers to the ancestors. He returns with a special wine, cloudy, sweet, and effervescent. It may be his last hope. Meanwhile, Okon spreads word of Akpan's ancestral blend. Curious villagers begin asking for samples, and some elders quietly admit it's the best wine they've tasted in years. The buzz reaches Bassi, who grows nervous. He increases his bribes to the judges, one of whom begins to hesitate. Mfon sends Akpan a wooden bracelet she carved. "Wear this when you pour," her note says. Akpan ties it to his wrist, feeling her presence as strength. The village square bursts with color and life as the Yam festival kicks off. Dancers leap, drummers pound, and masked spirits twirl. In the center is the competition arena. 5 palm wine stations, each marked with a different pattern. Akpan's is a woven mat, with 3 cowrie shells. The crowd cheers as contestants pour samples for the panel. Bassi arrives in a polished outfit, carrying silver flasks and speaking in English to impress the audience. Akpan arrives simply, barefoot and calm, with Mfon's bracelet on his wrist and Okon by his side. When his turn comes, he pours his sacred wine with a steady hand. The moment the judges sip, their eyes widen. The eldest among them nods slowly. "This is wine born of spirit and soil," he says. The crowd murmurs in wonder. Akpan stands tall, no longer just a shy tapper, but a man on the edge of something great. After tasting Akpan's wine, the judges take a short break before announcing the results. Bassi, seeing the tide turning, panics. He pulls aside Judge Agada, the youngest on the panel, and the most easily swayed. With a folded envelope, Bassi whispers, "A man with ambition needs friends. You understand?" Meanwhile, Okon overhears the conversation and informs Akpan. He's trying to buy the win. Akpan clenches his fists, but refuses to act rashly. Let the wine speak, he says. Still, doubts creep into his heart. As the judges return to their seats, a sudden shout erupts near the tasting stand. Someone has knocked over Akpan's calabash. Bassi claims Akpan was hiding a second different wine. But Okon pulls out the untouched backup gourd, proving otherwise. The judges exchange looks. The sabotage attempt has backfired. The crowd is no longer laughing at Bassi's jokes. Silence falls over the square as Chief Eatum approaches the stage to read the results. His voice is steady, but those who know him sense the inner turmoil. This year's winner, whose wine speaks of earth, time, and tradition, is Akpan, son of Uduak. The crowd erupts. Elders ululate. Drums thunder. Okon lifts Akpan into the air. Even those skeptical of him now chant his name. Bassi disappears into the crowd, his pride in tatters. Mfon steps forward in her ceremonial wrapper, her eyes locked on Akpan. In front of the entire village, she presents him the carved flowers of honor and garland of raffia. As she hands them over, her fingers brush his. You did it, she whispers. No, he replies. We did. After the festival, Akpan is invited to sit among the elders for the first time, a sign of rising status. His palm wine becomes the talk of neighboring villages. Some even suggest he take a second wife once he prospers. Akpan laughs nervously, eyes only for Mfon. Chief Etim, however, is silent. He refuses to speak to Mfon for days. Her mother pleads for understanding, but the chief believes that public embarrassment, losing to a commoner, is a wound on his honor. When Mfon confronts him, he says coldly, "Love is not enough. A tapper is not a husband for a chief's daughter." Mfon responds with steel in her voice. Then I choose to be a tapper's wife. With courage he never knew he had, Akpan dresses in his finest wrapper and walks with Okon and his uncles to Chief Etim's compound to formally ask for Mfon's hand in marriage. The entire village watches in suspense. No one has dared such a bold move in years. Chief Etim receives them stiffly. You bring palm wine to ask for royalty? He asks. Akpan kneels and speaks from the heart. I bring not just wine, but truth. Your daughter has chosen me, not because I'm wealthy, but because I respect her soul. I will protect it as I protect my trees. For a long time, the chief says nothing. Then he stands and walks away. Later that evening, a messenger arrives. The chief has not said yes, but he has not said no. He is thinking. Just when things begin to calm, tragedy strikes. A violent storm tears through the village. Several palm trees, including Akpan's sacred mother tree, are uprooted. The roof of his hut is blown off. Bassi, seizing the moment, tells villagers that the gods are angry with Akpan for disrespecting hierarchy, but the elders disagree. The gods do not punish love. They test it, one of them says. Mfon comes to Akpan's side to help rebuild. Together, they replant, repair, and restore what was broken. Their love, now tested by nature and society, grows deeper. That night, under a rebuilt roof and beside a new fire, Akpan tells Mfon, if we survive this, we can survive anything. The storm leaves more than physical damage. It sows doubt in Akpan's mind. Though Mfon remains by his side, whispers spread through the village. Some say he should have stepped aside for someone of higher class. Others believe nature's fury is a sign from the gods. Akpan begins to retreat into silence again. He taps wine half-heartedly, his once confident hands now hesitant. Mfon notices and challenges him. Is this the man I kissed under the moonlight? Where is the fire that made the trees bow to you? Her words sting. but they awaken him. That night, he returns to the grove, kneels on bare earth, and reaffirms his vow to the land, to his father's spirit, and to Mfon. "Let my hands bring life again," he whispers. The next morning, he taps wine with a renewed rhythm, slow, steady, and strong. The village council announces a new initiative, a community voice day, where villagers can nominate young people for leadership roles in agriculture, trade, and local governance. It's a modern twist to tradition, and Bassi nominates himself for the Agriculture Council. But something unexpected happens. A group of elders and farmers nominate Akpan, not just for his wine, but for the values he represents: humility, love, and hard work. At the town square, the votes are cast. The youth cheer for Akpan. Even skeptical elders raise their hands. Bassi is humiliated again, and this time he knows there's no recovering. Chief Etim, watching from the shadows, quietly nods for the first time. That evening, Mfon is summoned to her father's private chamber. Expecting another confrontation, she walks in ready to fight, but Chief Etim surprises her. He's seated calmly, a cup of Akpan's wine in hand. "I was once like him," he says, eyes distant, "a village boy who loved too loudly. Your grandfather almost disowned me for loving your mother." Mfon's heart softens as her father finally speaks the words she longed to hear. "I may not understand your path, but I see it, and I see him. You have my blessing." Mfon hugs him, tears slipping down her cheeks. Outside, the moon rises silently over the palm trees. The whole village gathers under canopies of raffia and leaves. Drummers play, maidens dance, and palm wine flows freely from gourds inscribed with the couple's names. Mfon arrives on a boat woven with palm fronds, her hair adorned with cowries, her eyes glowing with joy. Akpan waits at the altar, barefoot, as he always preferred, wearing a white wrapper and the bracelet she gave him. Okon acts as best man, grinning like a proud brother. The ceremony is a perfect blend of custom and heart. When Akpan and Mfon share their vows, it isn't just two people coming together. It's tradition and freedom meeting in harmony. The chief blesses them with kola nuts, breaking into a rare smile. And when Akpan kisses his bride, the whole village erupts in cheer. Even the palm trees seem to sway in celebration. Months later, Akpan and Mfon walk through a new grove, one they planted together after the storm. Young palms stretch toward the sun, and bees buzz softly in the distance. Akpan's business has grown with orders from outside villages. Mfon has opened a small reading hut for children beside the grove. They sit beneath the shade of a young tree, watching children play in the distance. "You know," Mfon says, "they'll call you the Palm Wine King soon." Akpan laughs. "Let them, as long as you're my queen." Their fingers intertwine, and for the first time in a long while, the land is quiet, not from silence, but from peace. And so, in the heart of Ikot Otu, love blossomed. Not in palaces or courts, but in the rhythm of wine drops, in storm winds survived, and in two hearts that chose each other despite it all. Moral lesson: true love is not bound by class, wealth, or tradition. It thrives where respect, hard work, and loyalty meet. The greatest victories are not in winning titles, but in winning hearts through integrity and perseverance.